Part C, long answer question. Show all necessary work. Formulas and calculations in the space provided. 10 marks. Question 1. Simona threw a ball and it bounced once on the ground. The distance between the ball and the ground in relation to the time elapsed from the moment Simona threw the ball is represented by the function f and g. These second-degree polynomials are represented in the graph and table of values below, where x represents time elapsed in seconds from the moment Simona threw the ball. F of x represents distance in centimeters between the ball and the ground before the ball bounced, and g of x represents distance in centimeters between the ball and the ground after the ball bounced. The rule of the function f can be represented by f of x is equal to negative 200x squared plus 200x plus 112. So far, very clear. The part that's not clear is what was the maximum height of the ball on the second bounce? This is the first bounce. The second bounce is here. After the second bounce, we have no idea. What they mean to ask is, what was the maximum height for the ball during the second parabola? They want to know what the k of g is. They're after this point right here. So I want to find the zeros, set this equation equal to 0, and I notice that all of these terms are divisible by 8. Divide everything by negative 8. That gives me 0 is equal to 25x squared minus 25x minus 14. I'm looking for the factors of 25, which I'm pretty sure are 5x and 5x. The factors of 7. Factors of 14 could be 2 and 7, could be 1 and 14. I'm trying 2 and 7 first. 5 times 7 is 35. 2 times 5 is 10. 35 take away 10 is 25. Now I'm after negative 25. I need to get negative 35. For that to happen, the 7 has to be negative. The 10 has to be positive. This 2 has to be positive. 2 times the 5 gives us the 10. All right, so we end up with 0 is equal to 5x. Question number 2, a parabola intersects the x-axis at negative 2 and 4 and passes through the point A to negative 24. These are the zeros. I'm going to use the intercept form, y equals a times x minus my first 0 minus negative 2, which is plus 2, x minus the second 0, x minus 4. I'm going to use this point. I'm going to replace the x and y with 2 and negative 24 into this equation and solve for a. We get negative 24 is equal to a times 2 plus 2, which is 4, times 2 minus 4, which is negative 2. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. We end up with negative 24 is equal to negative 8 times a. Divide both sides by negative 8, and that gives us a is equal to 3. You can feed that back into our equation. We have y is equal to 3 times x plus 2 times x minus 4. We know the zeros are negative 2, positive 4, and the h is going to be found right in between them. H is, just take the average of the two zeros. Negative 2 plus 4 is 2, divided by 2 is 1. If we feed the h into the x values in this equation, the y value is our k. K is going to be 3 times, open brackets, 1 plus 2, which is 3, times, open bracket, 1 minus 4, which is negative 3. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9 times 3 is negative 27. Let's make a quick sketch of this. Here are our zeros. Here is the vertex. The k is negative 27. The range of the function is going from negative 27 and it's going all the way up to infinity. Range is y is a member of from negative 27 with an excepto bracket to infinity, rejecto bracket on infinity. And that's it for question number 2. From part B, have a good day. Plus 2 times 5x minus 7. Some of the time 5x plus 2 is equal to 0. Subtract 2 from both sides. That gives us negative 2 is equal to 5x. Divide both sides by 5. Negative 0.4 is equal to x1. 0 is equal to 5x minus 7. Add 7 to both sides. Gives us 7 is equal to 5x. Divide both sides by 5. That gives us 1.4 is our x2. Our zeros are negative 0.4, which is going to be way back here, and then 1.4 right here. On this, we're told one of the zeros, g of x, when x is 2.4, the y value is 0. That means this point right here is 2.4. Between 1.4 and 2.4 is, take the average of the two, 1.4 plus 2.4 equals 3.8 divided by 2 is 1.9. This point, the h is 1.9. We just have to find the k. To get the equation of g of x, I'm going to use the intercept form of the parabola. Y is equal to a times, open bracket, x minus first 0, close the bracket, times x minus your second 0, close the bracket, where the zeros are 1.4 and 2.4. Y is equal to a times, open bracket, x minus 1.4, close the bracket, open bracket, x minus 2.4. Find the a. We know this point up here, 2 and 28.8. It's got to be somewhere over here. I'm going to feed that into this equation. Replace the y with 28.8 and replace the x with 2. We get 28.8 is equal to a times 2 minus 1.4, close the brackets, times open brackets, 2 minus 2.4.
2 minus 1.4
is 0.6
times, open bracket, 2 minus 2.4, close the bracket,
is negative 0.24. We get 28.8 is equal to negative 0.24a. I want to get the a all alone. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 0.24. That gives me negative 120 is equal to a. Our equation is now y equals negative 120 times x minus 1.4, close the bracket, times open bracket, x minus 2.4, close the bracket. We want to figure out k, and we know h is 1.9, so we're going to replace the x with 1.9 and find the k. We have negative 120 times 1.9 minus 1.4, which is 0.5, times 1.9 minus 2.4, which is negative 0.5. So that gives us negative 0.5 times negative 0.5 is negative 0.25, which is a quarter of 120. So negative a quarter times negative 120 is positive 30. Y is equal to 30 centimeters, or the maximum height on the second arc of the bounce is 30 centimeters. And that's it for question number 1 from part C. Have a good day.